Well, welcome to Pros Talking Pros. It's been a while since Troy and I have spoken with you, but we've been working on some major projects. Lately, we have been working with Catherine Bellinger on a new business called AuthorsZen. And Troy is the COO of that company, and I am the CIO. And Catherine is the CEO. So we got a lot of OOs going on. oh. But we're all just, what we've done is we've all partnered together to kind of make this company come to life for authors. And so Troy and I are going to spend today's episode just talking to you guys about why we did this and why Catherine came at the time she did, and it felt like lightning was striking. It was just amazing. Her timing was perfect, and this whole thing is just it's going to be fantastic for authors. We're really I'm not going to speak for you and for Catherine, but I'm going to say for me and for my clients, this is probably the most amazing godsend I've ever. I heard angels singing when you guys were telling me about this. So anyway. So today we're going to introduce you to AuthorsZen and kind of show you a little bit, talk about what's going on there. And I'm going to let Troy do a lot of the talking because it's really him and Catherine's baby. And I'm just kind of here for the ride and get the things that they don't want to do and do those. So I'm very excited about that. All right. So first of all, let's talk about why AuthorsZen is a game changer. Like, what is different about AuthorsZen, and what is it? What is it going to do for authors?
Okay, well, so let's talk about. Well, we'll back up a second. I'll talk about what our vision is and kind of what we want it to be, and where we're starting right now, and the reason for that. So, and we can kind of go through all those points. So be sure to interrupt me, ask questions, all of different kind of things. But so AuthorsZen, so Catherine came to me probably it's a year ago, almost
at least
a year now,
almost more,
at least a year, maybe a little more than a year ago, and said, "Hey, I want to build a website that's designed to kill Amazon and be the next Amazon place." And I was like, "That sounds really cool." At the same time, I'm thinking that is really freaking big. But she started to outline her idea, and then I threw in some ideas, and I thought this is something that could happen because we all know there's going to be something after Amazon. Before Amazon was, Apple Books and Smashwords. And then Amazon came into the game and became the giant gorilla in the room and is still where we get a lot of our income. But sales on Amazon are dropping and other platforms are increasing. So we know this is happening, right? So we know something's going to happen with Amazon because they're not focused. They shut down the Kindle Vella program. They're not as focused on books as they used to be, right? Okay. So we know that. We know it's an opportunity, but creating a website like Amazon is huge. I'm not Jeff Bezos. I don't have $1 million. And neither does Catherine. And we don't have a whole team of developers and all that stuff working full time on something like this, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. So we decided, let's start simple. Okay, the simplest thing that we can help authors do is, one of the biggest problems authors have is they go to create their author platform and they're like, where in the world do I even start? Let alone, so they just go, oh, I need a website. And then they're like, there's Wix, there's WordPress, there's Shopify, there's Square, there's a million different options. And they're all choosing one based on something some friend told them or something like that. And then they end up knee deep in it. And they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing with this thing. I can't afford to hire anybody, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So one of the simple solutions to it, and let me back up just a second and say I'm an SEO guy. I accidentally started working for an SEO company a number of years ago and started learning about SEO, right? And search engine optimization and I started applying that to my own website. And it was amazing. My domain authority is like triple, quadruple what most authors are. And the reason is because I actually did things on purpose. And I was like, oh, authors can do this, right? And authors can sort of, but it is a lot. It's a learning curve. There's a lot of work to it. I have a book out on it, all that kind of stuff. But one of the simpler ways is just say, hey, you need a web presence. In fact, having a whole bunch of web presence, the more web presence you have, the better. The more likely when somebody Googles your name that they find you, the better. right? And so we have Amazon pages and BookBub pages and all these other pages, but you have very little control over those pages, number one. So one of the things that we can do is provide authors with a web presence, a landing page of sorts that they have ultimate control over. We host it for them. We even build it for them based on a template, but they have control over what appears on that website, what those blurbs are, what the SEO behind it is to start with. And we'll talk about tropes and some other things in a few minutes that are going to set us apart. But essentially, it's a simple solution of, I don't want to have a website. I don't want to do all this work, but I know I need to have a web presence, and I know it needs to be something people can find on Google. And we say, okay, we can provide you with that for a relatively low cost. Now, the vision is that eventually that would also be a place where you can sell your books directly to readers and keep a larger percentage of your royalties and have better visibility and all of that kind of thing. So the vision is to eventually build a search engine of our own, very similar to what Amazon has, but hopefully way better. And we can talk about that in a minute. But to build something that's better than that and have better discoverability for authors, and therefore caters to readers in a better way. So that's kind of the whole thing, is we want to build a community of authors and build a community of readers and connect those two and make it much more possible and much more transparent. When somebody buys a book, if you have your site on AuthorsZen, somebody buys a book from there, you know who they are. You have their email address. You have, all of those type of things that you don't get from Amazon. So it's a huge project, but the way we're starting is you get a landing page. We design it for you. We host it for you. It's a very minimal charge for making those things. We're trying to keep it as affordable as possible. And then you have a web presence. And so check that box off your author list and move on with your life to the other things that it is that you need to do and concentrate on those. And you don't have to concentrate on the SEO and things like that. We do that for you. So the vision is so bigger. The little thing, the intermediate thing is the landing page.
I love it so much. It's one of those things where I was like, that was my biggest pain point with a lot of my clients, that they just, you're right, they get onto their own, trying to do their own website, and it is a wormhole you can't seem to ever get out of. It's a Atreyu stuck in the pit of sadness. You're literally like, you're never going to get out of that hole. And then it's just speaking from my own personal experience, anytime I have to update anything or change anything or do anything on my website, it's hours of work, because it's not something I specialize in. It's something that it's on the side, and I have to figure out how to do all that stuff. And it's a hard, like, task, chore to do as an author, especially if this is not something you want to do, if this is not how you want to spend your time creatively. So it was a big godsend to just have you and Catherine step in and say, yeah, we're going to create a company that's going to take care of this pain point. And just all the other stuff, in my opinion, is just like bonus. I know a lot of it is on Catherine's. Catherine's got a whole lot of ideas that are just, mind bending, in my opinion, but I love them. But yeah, this was the biggest issue. So I am so grateful. Right. I'm so grateful that that AuthorsZen is here. So we're solving the problem basically of authors needing a place to be on the web without having to create a website, without having to learn how to code, and essentially taking the basics of SEO out of your hands so that we can help you be searchable and findable on the internet, which is amazing. So one of the things you hit on, Troy, and I kind of want to make sure that we emphasize this again, is because direct sales is a big deal right now. It's really kind of like it's making a comeback. And I say that because, if you've been in the business for a while as an author, that this was actually initially the deal, but and for a long time, it's been kind of like out of people's authors, their business plans, but it's actually becoming another mainstream income maker. So can you talk to me about how AuthorsZen and why AuthorsZen is a good deal and why it might set itself apart from other platforms that maybe sell themselves as landing pages for authors? Why is it that AuthorsZen is going to be different?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, I mean, the first one is that even with the landing page, you can put links to wherever you want people to go on there. On Amazon, your Amazon landing page, people can buy your book one place, Amazon. That's because Amazon is Amazon, and they want people to spend money there, not somewhere else. So in this case, you can put your links to anywhere. But the other thing that sets us apart is the ability to tag stories in. So Amazon, you go in the background when you're uploading your story, you get 7 keywords, right? And those 7 keywords, you have to use them very carefully, very judiciously, put the right things in there. And you have to know what people are searching for on Amazon and what people are looking for. And there's tools that help you do that. And those are wonderful. Nothing wrong with those. Delightful, amazing, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't fully solve the problem of discoverability. But one of the things that I found is one place that has its discoverability nailed is fan fiction. They have tropes, they have trigger warnings, they have all kinds of stuff that people can search for. They can exclude certain things from their search. They can add certain things to their search and make their search tailored so they get exactly what they're looking for. Well, the big advantage of that is when you hook a reader with exactly what they're looking for, they leave better reviews. They become a fan because they're getting exactly how many times have you searched for a book on Amazon and found some romance thing mixed in with the horror genre because somebody's trying to rank in a smaller field or whatever, and you pick up that book and it's not good and it's not related to the genre you're looking for, right? So this is designed to eliminate that problem as much as possible by saying, you don't want to read about this, but you do want to read about these things. You can create a tailored search. Now, I mean, we're going to need hundreds of authors for this to work, right? But we're developing the foundation for that now by allowing people to enter all the tropes that are related to your books. We just did this with Wes Rand.
Wes Rand.
You guys can go look up his page and see that there's over 100 different tropes that are part of the Western fiction genre that are things you can tag by. Well, we tagged each book by those tropes. So if you search our site for those tropes, you're going to find the exact book that you're looking for. Now, I mean, obviously, we need a lot of Westerns added to the site to make that work, to make it worthwhile. Because right now, one book is going to show up because it's going to be Wes's book, right? Or 2 of his books, that type of thing, because we don't have a large number of authors. But as we get the larger number of authors, what it allows readers to do is to narrow things down very specifically. You can kind of search for those things on Amazon, but if the author hasn't entered that information at the beginning, and Amazon doesn't really give you an easy way to do that, then you aren't necessarily going to find that. Where this is something that allows you to filter better, basically.
You know what I love about this too is it's not playing favorites. So it's not creating an algorithm that's going to play favorites with certain people because they're with a specific publisher or because they, paid X amount of dollars with ads or whatever. It's going to help readers find exactly what you're looking for based on what the author enters, which is awesome. And giving the authors the chance to enter that information without trying to create some kind of maze to do that. That's fabulous. So I love that about that. So yeah, specifically, those are some amazing resolutions to problems we've been having now for years. So I'm really grateful that AuthorsZen is filling that gap. One of the things I wanted to point out about AuthorsZen that I find is a major benefit and something that other pages are not doing, and that's they're not giving the authors the chance to have an equal presence. So, they're, like you said, it's like especially with Amazon, you're seeing that you have to have their game kind of figured out to even win. There's over 4 million books a year that are published, and the only way that you're really going to get discovered is when you're going out there and you're doing some legwork. And this is just one of those things that extra that authors know they have to do and they don't know how to do. But when they do participate in other platforms, it's really, really tough for you to be on top of a pile when there's 4 million, books out there that just were published. So I really love that about AuthorsZen, is that we're kind of at the ground floor right now. So we're giving people a chance to kind of really jump in on an early, ground floor opportunity here. And I like I said, I'm not seeing anything like this. I've been doing some market research. There's several out there that kind of come close to what AuthorsZen is doing, but not like this, not to the scale. So I love that. So the direct links, let's talk a little bit about that, just so that we can make sure that we clear that up. When you say that authors can put whatever links they want on there, what kind of links are we talking about? Like, let's dumb this down a little bit.
Okay, so first of all, one of the things that's involved with AuthorsZen is author education. So we have a bunch of lists of tropes, and we're expanding those and creating more of those all the time. And the reason is you have to know what the tropes are so you can add them to your books as you upload them. Otherwise, we don't know what they are, so we can't add them for you, right? So another part of the author education is to tell you what links do you want to put on a website like AuthorsZen. And so there's a couple things that we recommend. The first one is that you include your Amazon link. Now, there are people that hate Amazon. Catherine is one of them. She hates Amazon with a passion. That's one of the reasons she started this project. However, to be honest with you, as indie authors, Amazon is still the gorilla in the room. It's where the majority of your sales are going to come from. So you need to include an Amazon link. If you absolutely are 100% against being on Amazon, you don't have to include it, but just understand there is a price that you're going to pay for that obstinance. But you can do it. Right. You can do it, especially if in your certain genres, you can really get away with it. Right. And we can talk more about that. That's a whole other video. Right?
That's a whole other video.
That's a whole other video with a whole other topic. So part of it is author education. But part of the author education, again, is to say there's buttons that you want to have. So one of them is Amazon. The second one is a universal book link. Now, what universal book links do is they take your readers to a choice page. Now, the beauty of those choice pages is, especially ones like Books to Read, which you get if you upload stuff to Draft to Digital, or Genius Link, which is another way to create ones and then have your affiliate links in there, which is another, again, that's another topic for another day. But both of those, if your reader has used those links before, they can choose a preferred store. So they click on that link and it will automatically take them to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever their preferred store is. And you don't have to do anything. It happens automatically for that user. The other things those links do is it takes the user to the country they are in. So if you're selling books to people in Europe or things like that, if they click on the Amazon link and they're in Germany, it will take them to the German Amazon store rather than the US one where they can't buy anything. So universal book links are the other things that are really important. The last one is if you are selling paperbacks somewhere other than Amazon, which please, for the love of all that's holy, tell me that you are. And if you're not, please come talk to one of us. We also do consulting for authors, and I'm happy to consult with you and tell you why you need to do this. But if you're selling paperbacks somewhere other than Amazon, which you should be, then you can link to that location as well. So in some cases, like Wes's case, he's selling them on Ingram, and we just link directly to Ingram. He doesn't need a website in between where people have to click 4 times to get to the book that they're looking for.
He also doesn't have to inventory books himself, and he doesn't have to have 1,400 books in his basement and ship them off himself. You guys, isn't that awesome?
Oh, print on demand is the bomb. Now, and the other thing is if you have audiobooks, okay, if you have audiobooks, you can link to those audiobooks, and you can create universal links that are just for your audiobooks, or you can create another landing page for your audiobooks, whatever it is that you want to do. But so no matter what format you have, there's a way for you to link to it in the way that makes you as the author, first of all, gives readers, as many readers as possible, access to your books. So if you're on multiple platforms, you're on multiple platforms, then it doesn't matter what device that person uses all the time. If they don't use a Kindle, they don't like Amazon, they don't like Kindle, whatever the case may be, they use a Nook or a Kobo reader or something else instead, they can read on that device. Okay, it's automatic for you. listen on that device in the case of it being audible. Okay, so you take that, you're available as wide as possible and at the greatest profit margin to you. You as an author should be concerned if you want to do this in any way, even if it's just a side hustle to make extra money, and you don't ever want to do this for a living, which that makes you a very smart person, because some of us have done this for a living and it's really hard. But anyway,
it's rocking.
That's another topic for another day. But anyway, but it gives you the highest profit margin. One of the number one things that we want to do with AuthorsZen is make sure you're keeping as much money as possible. So we want to take as little of your money as possible. Now, we still have to pay for the website hosting. We still have to pay for all the things. So we have to keep the lights on. We have to charge you something, but we're trying to make that as affordable as possible, because I want you to be able to keep as much of your own money as possible. I don't want to take a bunch of your money because, first of all, I don't need it. Second of all, I wanted to make it so that you as an author can actually make money from the work that you're putting into it. So
let me point out, if anybody's like watching us for the first time, I need to point out, well, I'll point it out. First and foremost, it's late. First and foremost, Troy is an author. If you don't know this, Troy is a prolific author. He writes constantly. I don't even know how he writes books so fast, but he writes books like lightning. And Catherine is also an author. She's an aspiring author. She's an up and coming. She loves to read. She's a prolific reader. She reads more than I do. And that's impressive because I'm an editor. And I work with indie authors primarily, but I've worked with traditional published authors. And my job is to make sure that authors are getting the best education so that their goals are met to the best of their ability and in their best interest. And I do that primarily with their goals and their aspirations in my focus. Now, when you take the three of us and you put us into a program, or help put us into a company like AuthorsZen, you know that we're going to make sure that the author is the primary focus. We want to make sure that authors understand coming in that we are going to do the very best for them at the best, with the best interest, their best interests at heart. We're not trying to take people for a ride. In fact, there have been many times where Troy and I have been friends for years, and there have been conversations where we've been in the hallway at one event or another, and we'll be talking about some lady who sold her house or, mortgaged her whole entire life and bought 500 books and is selling them out of a car and now is homeless. I mean, this has happened because people have gotten bad advice. And I love that AuthorsZen is coming in to kind of go, okay, stop taking bad advice. It's not that you don't have to have a website. You can. And if you have certain needs or you have certain goals, that might be something you do down the road. But AuthorsZen is going to give you an alternative to, that problem out of the gate. And then eventually, if you need to have a website or decide to have a website, I have clients that they're going to need a website, but they're also going to utilize AuthorsZen for what it's going to be, which is that search engine. So I love that we're helping in all these different facets that authors need help with. So I wanted to make sure I made that point.
Is even if you have a website as an author, it's another place to make your books available to readers, because there's two parts of our target audience. The first one is the authors. We want you to have a web presence, all that kind of stuff, and a place to sell your books. But then for you to sell your books, we need to bring readers and traffic to the website. So there's a combination of things, like we're focused on readers. And the reason we're focused on readers is because that's what benefits the authors. We want to connect you with your readers. So one of the things that we're doing, it's kind of in beta right now, but we're allowing places for you to have people sign up for your email list on your landing page. The reason is the two things you own is your web presence and your reputation and who you are as a person and all that kind of stuff, and your email list. And those are two things that you as an author, those are yours. You can take them with you wherever you go. You can change your website, start a new website, whatever the case may be. So this is just another place for you to showcase your work and to sell it to readers and to reach readers that you might not reach some other places. Because there's one thing to understand about finding your target audience that we don't talk about enough, and that is that there are many target audiences and they don't always overlap.
Right.
So somebody who buys books on Nook is not also going to buy books on Kindle usually. Usually they choose one or the other. If they listen to audio on YouTube, they don't listen to it on Spotify, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have, I have Apple Music, so I don't listen to music on Spotify because I have Apple Music. If I didn't have Apple Music, maybe I would have Spotify instead. So it's a matter of that those audiences don't overlap. So having a presence on AuthorsZen, you may find an audience that doesn't buy books other places necessarily, or they're looking to see where you're selling books, and they'll find you on those places as a result of AuthorsZen. That's what it's really for, is to help you expand your audience. So it's everything we do is author focused, but in part of that focus is bringing in readers to find your books.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, all right. Well, you kind of touched on a few things that are coming. One of the things is being that we've got our newsletters and that we are, our mail list that we want to build for authors. Just, because I know we don't want to give away the whole world right here, but do you have some ideas of or things that you can share that maybe are kind of in the works, or things that we're hoping to eventually, other than, our network for readers and that, is there anything specific that you and Catherine are hoping that AuthorsZen can do?
Yeah. So what we're really hoping for is that within the next year, that we start that search engine becomes more robust. And what I mean by that is that there are ways to filter and link to those filters that we don't have in place right now. The other thing that's one of our biggest priorities is being able to offer direct sales. Now, I just off the top of my head, I'm going to say that's 12 to 18 months out, more than likely, simply because it takes time to develop things, but also as we develop them, we need to make sure that they work. Right. So we don't want it. So what we've rolled out right now is the simplest version of AuthorsZen that you will ever see. And the reason is it works. Stacy and I just went through and tested the checkout process for one of her clients, and it's quick and seamless and it's beautiful, and it works, and it's super fast. Well, the reason we want that is we want everything on the website to work that simply. We want people to be able to search things in a very simple way. So we want everything to work. So we're not going to roll something out unless it's ready to work, and unless we've got this server space and all the things to back it up and make it work. So some of these things are, and we could develop faster than I think. It's quite possible. But I also don't want to make promises that, oh, yeah, you're going to be able to sell your books direct and we're going to have a huge audience in 12 months. That would be a dream, but it may or may not. It may take us longer than that. So we're moving slowly to make sure everything works as we go. That's one of the reasons that we've kind of got the email list in beta right now, is because we need information from the authors to make that work. And we'd like to make that simpler. But the path to making it simpler and being able to take APIs from different authors and things like that, and don't worry about it if you don't know what the terminology means, doesn't even matter. But what that means is that we have to do some more development on the website and make sure it works. So right now we're doing the simple thing of you give us the code for your form, and we enter that code on the website. And it's very dependent upon you knowing some things about what you're doing, and we'll walk you through them as much as we can. But you're going to have some technical knowledge and some access to your email provider and things like that we can't. I don't have that access. I don't want that access, all that type of thing. So that's why that's in beta right now. But eventually we want to make that even simpler, so you can just integrate that and do that yourself. But it's just going to take some time and some internet and web development, and we want everything to be as solid as it can be when we start out.
Perfect. So. Yeah, I love that. I that makes me happy, because as an entrepreneur at heart, I've studied, I studied entrepreneurism in school, and I've worked for businesses my whole life. And one of the things that I love about this that's different from other startups, basically, quote unquote, is that startups usually, go out there, they throw out, a working model. And when I say working, I mean half working, and just roll with the punches and see what sticks. And a lot of times, I think the percentages are super high. It's like 60 to 80% of those companies, they fail within the first few months because they don't work. And so they just crash and burn. And one of the things that we just don't want to do is we don't want to crash and burn. So we're going to iterate slowly, and we're going to make sure, like Troy said, we're going to make sure things work and that they're solving the problems, not creating more problems or complexity for authors. We want to keep things as simple as possible, because right now there's too much complexity out there in the world. Everything's just too dang complex. Oh gosh.
And that's okay. Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to do, is keep it as simple as possible and keep it as seamless as possible, but let you make more and keep more of your money.
Right. Exactly. So, Troy, I think one of us should share our screens a little bit. I would like to show people what we've got on AuthorsZen and kind of walk through the website real quick so people can know where to find things. And that would probably be really helpful. And then,
okay, let me see if I can pull it up here really quick.
And then I will let you walk through it here real quick.
Share really quick what this looks like. So this is really simple, actually. So the page that you're looking at right now is just our homepage. Your story matters, share it your way. We want you need a web presence. We can help you get that. So we have hosted landing pages, help with your publishing choices. This is an education part, and then access to writer reader communities. This is coming soon. But one of our things that we want to do is not only have our own community, but link to other communities as well, where you can share with readers and things like that. So we've got some things on the horizon for that. That's nice. Coming soon. And basically, then we have less tech, more writing, and then we have a sample page. But instead of a sample page, I'm going to show you one of our author pages here in just a minute. And then we have some blog posts, all the typical information that we're supposed to have on our website, that type of thing. And a place where you can subscribe to our email list. Super easy. Enter your email address. Bingo, you're done. And you won't miss updates when we have them. So now I'm going to skip around. One of the things I'm going to look at first is I'll look at the About Us page. It's really simple. It's basically just
there's
talking.
There's our Catherine.
There's our Catherine. There's me.
Our Catherine.
And basically, Catherine is a brilliant business person who has a very specific vision for what we want AuthorsZen to be. And so I'm really excited. First of all, I'm really excited to be partnered with her. She's got some great organization ideas.
She's fixed me in so many ways.
Oh man,
slapped me around. She's helped me a lot
with calendars and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So she's working with science fiction and fantasy of the books that she's doing on her own, but she's just, she does editing as well. She's helped me out with some editing, some really cool stuff like that. And it's really fun. So she's amazing. There's a picture of me. You already know who I am. I'm going to just skip that down. And there's Stacy, which you should probably know who she is too.
Yep.
And that's our staff right now. We do have plans for expansion on that, but that'll come over time. We're going to need a developer, that type of thing.
If you're a developer and you're interested, let us know. Hit us up.
Yeah, exactly. We have author resources. We have our blog, and then down here we have a special thing on tropes and why they're important to fiction. And you can see on this side we have romance tropes, mystery tropes, sci-fi tropes, Western tropes, fantasy tropes, and other tropes. And we'll continue to add more of those as we go along. Those are all tags that you can add in the background to your books. And so this page is really designed to introduce you to those and to let you know that, hey, that's
what they are.
This is something that you should be thinking about, and this is how they work.
Can we also just do a quick plug for tropes? I mean, one of the things that we talk about, and I hear a lot of authors say, is they want to avoid tropes. They want to not be so tropey. That's kind of a nice little catchphrase I see or hear all the time. So, Troy, just real quick, what is a trope?
So tropes are basically just common things found in fiction. So like crime tropes are like, the drunk detective who's lost his family and his wife, the workaholic detective who never comes home and has all kinds of family problems and things like that, right? The problem is, or a happily ever after in a romance, or the chosen one, or the whodunit in a mystery, or enemies to lover dynamic in romance, whatever it is, right? Well, people say I don't want to be tropey, but the truth is, first of all, you're going to be tropey anyway because you're going to write a story, and you're not going to write a brand new story that nobody's ever seen before. You're going to write a story that's just a story. Second of all, tropes are what sells books. People look for certain things. I mean, Danielle Steele built a career on tropes. She wrote the same trope over and over and over again.
John Grisham does it.
Yeah, John Grisham, James Patterson, all that kind of stuff.
They all do it.
So we use tropes as a way for people to search for things on our website. Now, if you're familiar with fan fiction and sites like AO3, they do this exact same thing. They have hashtags and tags that are certain tropes. And when readers are looking for that trope, they go to their website, they search for that trope, they find fiction, and they read the exact fiction that they want.
Right.
So it helps readers find the books exactly that they want. Okay.
So don't be afraid of tropes.
Don't be afraid of tropes. Now, you don't want to take it to a ridiculous level either. So there's kind of a balance there. And unless you're making fun of it.
Unless you're making fun of it, writing a comedy.
Making fun of it, like, my book, Call of Karen, it's a giant, long trope and junior high joke. So if you're into junior high jokes and tropes, it's the book for you.
Karen.
But anyway, then we have a post here on book blurbs that talks about book blurbs, so you can go dive really deep into that. That's on our blog. Then we're adding resources to our blog all the time. Yada yada. Cool. Again, subscribe, check out our website. There you go. And what in the world does this cost? Well, we're very upfront with our pricing plans. It's our goal to make and keep AuthorsZen as affordable of an option for readers as possible. So we have monthly options, we have annual options, and in our beta version, we have a lifetime option. So what I'm going to say about lifetime options is, first of all, I'm a person who hates subscriptions. I love lifetime options. Hate them. Love lifetime options. But I also, as a person who has worked with author companies and helped develop software and things like that, I also know that subscriptions are the lifeblood of software.
Some companies, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some companies. So what we're doing right now is we're offering a beta lifetime version. Okay. Pay once, never pay again. There's no setup fee.
And we're not.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
As soon as our beta period of this ends, this offer will no longer be available. If we do have a lifetime version, it's going to have to be more expensive than this. And this author can end at any time. Let me clarify too what I mean by that when I say any time. As of the recording of this video, it's probably at least a year out before this ends. Right? Because our beta period is going to be long. We're going to iterate slowly, like I've told you. But at a certain period, this lifetime deal is no longer going to be sustainable. Right. But right now, we're using it to bring in as many authors as we can at the outset so that we can also build a reader community. So that's the purpose of this beta lifetime. So if you go, man, that's only 4 years and that thing pays for itself. Yep. That is absolutely true. Are things going to get more expensive? Yes, they are at some point. You notice also that each of these plans, with the exception of the lifetime, requires a $100 setup fee. The reason is that gives us the time we need to work with you and set up your landing page to be the best that it can. Right. Okay. You only pay that once when you set up your page, and then you don't pay it again. Okay. Right. If you have to do major changes to your site, it might count almost as like redoing your page. If we have to do something like that, then we'll.
Or if you want multiple pages, if you just like if you want multiple pages, you might have to be charged another $99 for that additional page. But that's it, guys. When you're setting up a website, let's just be clear here. Okay. Well, and just FYI, I'm gonna stick this in here. If you have a domain name, like say you're georgeclooney.com, because you want to make sure that your author name is always tied to your books, which is something I teach in my course, that you do want to do that. You can point that domain name to your landing page on AuthorsZen. You don't have to have that on its own website. You can take that domain name and you can, there's what's called DNS settings, if you know what those are, and you can set that so that they point to this page. So you don't have to have the website separate, and still you still get to use you can do
it even simpler than that.
Yeah.
With a redirect. Just a simple redirect.
Simple redirect. Yeah. So you've got like a really easy options here, and you don't have to have this whole full-blown website, and you can point your readers still using your domain name if you want. So that's the beautiful thing about this as well.
One other thing is that right now, all we're offering is single pages, like a single series page, a single page per author. We want to be able to offer multiple pages, and that is another thing that's on our roadmap. But right now, so we can bring in as many authors as possible, that's what we're doing, is up to 10 books on a landing page. That's with at least the annual or the lifetime plan. With the monthly plan, it's up to 5 books, and that you can cancel at any time. There's no penalty or anything like that. But the reason we're keeping those single pages is just for simplicity, to get as many authors in as possible, give as many people an opportunity to get on the ground floor as possible. Eventually, we will be offering multiple page options, so you won't have to pay $100 for each one. Like if you're setting up multiple pages at the same time, there will be a lower fee for setting all those up at the same time. But right now, that's just not in the works. We're just one page per author, single landing page. So just to be clear on
perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. So I love that because, I hate subscriptions. I hate subscriptions and me don't get along. I feel like I want to chuck my computer out of the window every time I get one of those emails that says your subscription is renewing in a month. And you're like, what? Why do I have to keep paying for that? And I want to get rid of it, but I can't because I'm a sucker for convenience.
Well, in certain tools, it's worth it. And I have subscriptions now. I don't like them, but I hate them. I have them for certain tools. And I understand from the software company point of view, to keep developing and stuff like that, offering lifetime for everything, it can be a real challenge. And so we understand that. I don't want to promise you I'm going to have some kind of a special lifetime deal forever, because it's just not possible.
It's not possible.
It's just not practical. So, but we will do our best, to keep things as affordable, as easy as possible. Anyway, so that's our pricing page. Very, very simple. One of our first updates will be add your capability to add your newsletter sign-up form. We're already working on that a little bit. You don't have to be on a certain level to do that, but you're just going to need to have some information for us at the moment.
Perfect.
And that's it. That's AuthorsZen. That's it. Right now, it's a simple page. Oh, our author pages. Our authors.
Let's show those.
Here will be a list of our authors. Now, eventually, these will be separated out by genre. Things like that. So we only have a few authors up here now as examples. One is CJ Anaya. And so we have one of her series here, genre YA fantasy and romance. Eventually, these will be links that would take you to a page that has more romance, things like that. And this just obviously takes you right to her page, right? If she had more than one page, then we could list those pages separately here, and there would be links to those. So that's an eventual coming. Wes Rand, he's our Western guy that I was telling you about. Genre Frontier and Pioneer Western and Classic Westerns, Evil Striker series. And then we have CJ and I both to show you what the examples like. If we have 2 authors, we've basically created a joint bio here. And we have the Undercover Files series. There's only 1 book in it right now, so we have that set up as well. Now, the page I'm going to take you to look at is Wes's page. The reason is because he's got multiples. And did that change?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that. Okay, good. Wanted to make sure I wasn't sharing the wrong window or whatever. Okay, so the way this starts is basically this is Wes's page. This is his first book in a series. We've got 3 buttons, like we were talking about: purchase on Amazon, purchase out of the retail, purchase in paperback. If he had an audiobook, we would have the link here as well to that audiobook. Okay, and those all lead to places where people can buy his books. Now, and then we have the genres down here. Then we have tropes. Now, look at all of these tropes. Now, eventually, all those will be linkable. Each one of those will be linkable, so you can search that trope, or you can filter by your trope. Why do I have? Oh, and then I have his bio here. So we talk about Wes, which we saw on the author page, but it appears on a series page as well. And then he has 8 books in his series. Okay. Now, one of the things that's cool is if you click on this cover of this book, you will go down to that book in the series. Again, 1, 2, 3 links to the various places. You notice, obviously, we made this look good. There's his cover. His blurb kind of matches the height of the cover. That's why we give you word count limits for your blurbs and your bio, because we want all that stuff to look good together. And then we have a genre. And again, all of these tropes. Now, notice we have genre and tropes for each book. The reason is, even if they're all in the same series, yes, they're going to be the same genre, but tropes can change from book to book. And in Wes's case, they actually do. And so we want to showcase the fact that his books are not all the same trope. Now, there's probably some overall tropes for the series, things like that, but this allows people to come directly to your book that's exactly the trope they're looking for. Okay. And same thing, we just go down and he's got every single, I love this. I just love this book. I just love the title of this book, this Christmas cheer is dead and Stryker's here to bury it. I just like that front line. It's just like that whole book. Anyway, we've got ISBNs for ebooks, for the EPUB, ASIN for paperback and the ebook. That's your Amazon identifier numbers. If you don't know about those things, you should
contact me.
You will. You will by the time we're done with our website will offer you education for all of these different things, the things that you should know, right? The things that you should know. Anyway, we come down to the bottom, and this is the last one in the last book in the series. If Wes had a sign up for the email list, we would put that sign up form probably down here, or maybe halfway,
maybe underneath this,
partway through these. Maybe underneath his bio or underneath this navigation pane, somewhere here where people could sign up for his email list. Okay. Perfect. But he doesn't have that, so we haven't done that. So that's what our author pages look like. Your landing page will look very similar. Obviously, the font on your landing page and the colors will be more designed to match your books and your and basically your genre, all that kind of stuff. As we go forward, that's one of the things on our roadmap too, is to allow you more choices with your layout for fonts, for button colors, for all of those different things, maybe background colors. But right now we're keeping things very, very simple. Everything works really, really well. That's all that really matters to us at the moment. It's simple. It's easy for readers to navigate, easy for you as an author to navigate. And if you give us all of this information, and there's a form for that, once you paid, we will send you a link to that form, and we will also send you a link to a YouTube video that will teach you how to use that form and how to upload your stuff. It's very simple. Again, everything's designed to be very, very easy, and that's it. That's AuthorsZen. That's our website. Quick walkthrough, but beautiful, easy, simple. If you guys have any questions, of course, you just email us and ask. So
and that email is support@AuthorsZen.com, correct?
Info@AuthorsZen.com.
Sorry. Yeah. Info. Yeah. Okay. Info@AuthorsZen.com. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you again, Troy, for walking us through that. This is kind of a long video, but we're very excited. We're very excited about this. But again, it's one of those things that we're, like I said, it's kind of exciting to be really on the beginning stages of something like this. And if you are an author that loves to just get in and get started with something new and exciting and be on the ground floor of something and be able to have to be able to give input and kind of share your experiences to help shape a company like this, we are welcoming that kind of input as well. So if this is something that you're interested in, or you feel like you can contribute to in any way, reach out to info@AuthorsZen.com and we'll see what we can do and how we can implement maybe your ideas. I would love to get ideas from other authors and see what people are like thinking, and see if this is something we could actually implement. Yep. It would be good.
Yeah, that's one last thing. That's one last thing is we relatively soon will have a roadmap on our website. And basically what that'll be is these are features that we're adding, and kind of maybe an order in which we're adding them, or some kind of ideas of where we're adding them. If you like those, we want you to upvote them and tell us, hey, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Right. Because the other aspect of it, though, is if you have ideas and you see it's not on our roadmap, I want you to email us and tell us, because we can look at it. And if other authors also think it's a good idea, then we will add it to our roadmap. So suggestions are always welcome, because again, this is for you. This is your product. It's for you. It's designed for authors.
It's designed for authors.
Better than we do what you want. So tell us what it is.
Sometimes, but again, like we said, we want you guys to understand and know that we're right there in the trenches with you. We're not. This isn't something that's being designed by some executive that got an idea and thought this is a good way to make money. This is not what this is. This is Troy and Catherine and me going, these are the problems we're seeing, and who does this? Who's fixing this? And nobody was fixing it in the way we felt was satisfactory. So income us. the people that were like, okay, let's just see what we can do to make work. But I'm really excited about this. So again, I hope this is going to help alleviate a lot of heartache and some problems for those of you out there that are looking for something like this. And again, with AuthorsZen, you can find it at AuthorsZen.com. And here, Troy and we got to get back on track. But now we've got a new organizational tool. We can probably organize our print to prose a little bit, or prose to prose talking prose. We could do this a lot better, because we have some ideas about what you guys want to hear about. So I'm excited to debate some subjects with Troy. We've kind of got a couple of debates on the schedule that I'm excited to tackle. Yep. So anyway, all right, everybody. Well, thanks again for joining us today. And again, you can reach us at our respective websites, TroyLambertWrites.com, editsbystacy.com, for any kind of help with your writing needs. We're both, happy to help you with that. And we look forward to seeing you at our next episode. Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.